Again, came up short. Some better in some areas, but still a few mistakes, some things that got us. So I was proud of the effort. Played physical, didn't give up a touchdown the last couple, 3 quarters on defense. Offense, a little bit more balance. Collectively played better, blocking, giving us a chance, got open. Still just not good enough, so not just encourage our guys, had enough leadership, discipline, pride to play a solid game against a really good team. And we'll have a great test this week. North Texas comes in very good on offense. They've had a tough schedule. Their records compared to ours, but they're playing good ball. So we'll have a tough test with these guys this week as we get into Game 11 and Senior Day. And big day for me. Again, we've made a big deal since Benner wanted to, cosmetically have a better year as far as wins and having a chance to be a bowl team, which we're not going to have a chance to be now. And that was just to recognize the seniors, a lot of guys that wanted to stay in this day and age where you can transfer portal out. So disappointed for those guys. But at the same time, appreciate the way they go about their business, what they're doing for us, what they're doing across the street on campus. So like our group a bunch. Had a good week of practice last week. I don't think we'd have played well if we wouldn't have. Again, just disappointed with the string of outcomes that have been short, but like the way our guys are battling, and we'll need a good week. We'll need to play better than we did last week to beat North Texas, to tell you the truth.
Question.
Coach, you've been talking for weeks now about the attitude of the team and how good it's been. Is there any fear now that the bowl is off the table, that the winning record is off the table, that you could lose them a little bit?
I don't think so. We'll see. And we talked again. We met with the seniors yesterday about senior week coming up. What do you want to do? What can we do for you? How can we make, to me, everything in life is terminal, and there's endings to it, and there's ending to a football career. So if you had X number of days to play your game, what would you want to do? How would you want to practice? How would you want to be remembered for practicing? How would you want to play those games? So just, again, it's a great group of guys. They battled through. We've gotten, kind of with them with some injuries, and those guys keep showing up with a good attitude. Thought we had solid work Sunday, showed them some good plays, some effort plays, and then discuss going into this week and the next week how to make these 2 weeks the best 2 weeks we've had. We need to coach as well as we can, as much enthusiasm and as much passion, and so it's up to our coaches to set the tone. It's up to our seniors to embrace that, and I would encourage and hope that they would. At the same time, you can take the horse to water. You can't make him drink. So if they don't want to, we're not going to get negative about it. But I would venture to say that the core of the senior crowd will do a good job. And I just asked the young guys. We could say we're building a program, young guys get better, but the young guys, I respect these old guys. They didn't have to stay here in the day and age. Like right now, with these coaches all getting canned right now across the country, okay, they can immediately go to the portal, and it's their choice. And our guys could have done the same thing, and some of these guys have came back. So I'm just asking the guys to continue to represent our school. I thought we represented our school the other day the way don't like the outcome, but it was the effort, the pride, the little bit more discipline, the way you want to play. You want to build on that. I want these guys, might not, again, cosmetically be the outcomes you want, but to leave an impact on what we're trying to start as we move forward into the years that can come after this one.
Kirk Francis obviously came in and played really well in the last game. Going forward, does that earn him more playing time? Does it earn him a start?
Yeah, well, again, based, I guess you could say like how you practice too now. The best thing Kurt had going today was, first of all, he played. I thought going into the game we would need. I thought we'd have to run the ball, and I thought they were fourth in the nation in run defense. So that was a pretty good team. And I thought to run the ball, we'd need to run the quarterback, which Braylon and Cardell have been our two best quarterbacks. So I thought we'd need to use Braylon in some running. I thought we needed to play Kirk to take advantage of his ability to throw the ball reasonably well. But I didn't want to, on the road, top 20 team, a lot of hype, maybe throw him out there too soon. Could he handle it? Well, the first drive, we threw an interception the first drive, but it's a go ball. It basically was a punt. So that had really no effect on the game. But we did have a turnover first drive. So I say, Kirk, go. I thought he handled it well. Next drive, they were sitting on some routes. Let's try to get past them. We made a go ball. We made a double move ball. We got in the end zone. He started playing well. We just rode with it. I would have told you before the game we'd probably go 50-50. At the end, we got down. We had a goal line situation in the second quarter where we got called for a procedure when they were clapping their defense, and we missed the call. And it went from a 3rd and short where we basically were going to throw the reverse pass we threw later. When it went to 3rd and 6, we took that play out because it's not a 3rd and 6 call. And so we were trying to still have Braylon available, which we had him in because we thought down the goal line the quarterback run was a factor. But Kirk played better than I would have anticipated. You don't know. First game you get out there, maybe you're not. Okay, it's reactionary. Okay, this game you're expecting to play, and by the way, you're playing a team that's playing really good. That's the most yards that team had given up all year. Okay, and so you're playing a pretty good team. You got this freshman. Okay, you're going to throw him out there. And by the way, you haven't been pass blocking real well. By the way, you haven't been creating a lot of separation in routes. All of a sudden, those things were all good. Protection was holding up. Guys were getting some separation, and then Kirk played very well. But Kirk also had some teammates playing well. That was our best offensive outing, and it was good to see. We still didn't score enough touchdowns. You don't win games kicking field goals, and unfortunately, we came up short in that regard.
I was at Metro
I
Christian.
didn't answer your question, but if he has a good week, I expect him to play. If he has a good week, possibly he starts. We're not.
I was
nothing's
at Metro
going on.
Christian. I was at Metro Christian, Coach, the day you and Coach Spurrier went to. You were out there a few months ago, and maybe it was the first time you had met Kirk. I don't know, but I guess it was a throwing and a sit-down conversation or whatever. But did you guys come out of that meeting that day already having decided to invite him in here, or?
Yeah, that was already. And as soon as I got here, a couple of our most influential alumni said, "There's a quarterback over there you need to be aware of." And then, of course, we didn't get Coach Spurrier and the offensive staff in here to almost January 5, 6, 7, 8, and we started. I had several phone calls. I'd already met Kirk. He had been over here to see us. I can only see him one time away. Coach Spurrier had been by once a week. You can go see them during that period. I was just trying to reassure him that we thought he showed the skill that we wanted quarterback. Didn't know you enough, hadn't seen you in competitive situations, had never really seen you practice, had never really seen you play live, what's your body language like. So we were apprehensive to give any quarterback a scholarship offer last year, just on short term. We didn't think we had a relationship. We were told we had good quarterbacks that were on our roster, and I just felt that we needed one. And he had some scholarship offers at some FCS levels. He had preferred walk-on opportunities at Big 12 schools. I just shared with him, I think this is a good situation, but I'm going to hold my card to make sure. I told him about 5, 6 weeks ago, you've already showed me you're good enough to be our quarterback here in time and be very well. And this was before he had played in the game. I told him about 5 weeks ago. I think several weeks ago I started saying, hey, pop in and get reps with the one. So, I've always kind of liked him. You didn't know short term. It's such a big position. And I'm kind of old enough. I don't like the game of, okay, I'm going to give you a scholarship. You come here, you're no good. Okay, now go somewhere else. I don't think that really fits here. So I wanted to be, we played a little conservative. I had to convince his parents we weren't trying to pull the wool over their eyes. We weren't trying to bluff them to get them here because, they are paying for his schooling. Going forward, we'll see. I think he's setting up to be a scholarship guy and should be. We'll cross those bridges. I got to talk to compliance and how he counts and all that. But he's done a well of a job. And it started several weeks ago just in our practices. Like when he was on our scout team, when I would take him to the varsity field, our defensive coaches would be mad because he was giving them a great look. What he did do, though, he took advantage of those scout team reps going against our defense, which has played pretty well. And you're down at the scout team where you're getting no blocking. And, and he competed and made that quote every Tuesday, Wednesday, like his Super Bowl, like his game day. So when called upon, when he's been now in 2 games, basically a half a game and almost a full game, he's played very, very calm. So liked him since we met him. We didn't have a lot of choices when we got here. We're very fortunate to have him. I'm very grateful for a couple of our influential alumni immediately. I'm talking in December. There's a quarterback at Metro you need to see. Here's his tape. Got a phone call from a couple guys that know the position. Hey, you need to check this guy out. And so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful he's here. But again, he's young, and he's played a game and a quarter, game and a half. We got a lot of football to play with him. We got a lot of football. I think Braxton's got 10, 11 starts, and Cardell's got 3, 4, 5. So we got a lot of ball with all those guys to go.
So, like during the Tulane game, my phone just blew up, and people were so excited that he was playing that well. But on the telecast, it seemed like his teammates, the energy around him from his teammates was off the charts.
Yeah, I don't know if it'd be off the charts because when we kicked the one field goal to make it a 3-point game, I saw the O-line just kind of walk off the field, which I pointed out today was disappointing. When we scored the first touchdown, we celebrated as a team, and now we made it I think it was a 5-point game. We kicked it to it at 21-16. And I showed the clip. I say, hey, everybody's just walking on the field. Where's the energy at here? We're in the fourth quarter. We're in a one-possession game. We're playing our butts off. This is great. But I will say we've struggled offensively to get the ball going. When we made the first 2 the go shot, the double move shot, and we threw the touchdown pass, I think that energized our team. It energized everyone. Defense picked it up, started playing well. Great pick by Mitch Colquhoun in the end of the half there to keep us going. Offense got some energy going. We had a better game plan. We called it better. We put them in good spots. Carl Chester played a game. I've never seen him practice that way, let alone play that way. You know, it was really good to see. Where's that been? I like to see that again. I like to see you practice well. Cam Benjamin's been one of our best players. And so, and what's amazing, you're talking about Kirk Francis, you're talking about Cam Benjamin. Chase Myers, 14 of 15. Mitch Colquhoun, big, quick. Dane Hodge is playing well. Joe Anderson's played his best. Those are all walk-ons, too. Those are non-scholarship players that are playing some of our best football for them. We need those guys, and I'm proud of them and happy for those guys. But I do think Kirk's play energized our team. I don't know if it was off the chart, but it was energy that we needed for sure.
Enough about Kirk. I kind of want to talk about Cardell. You said last week that it was a lingering injury and that it could be week to week. It could be a lingering injury. Just an update on him this week.
Yeah, he was throwing the other day, and again, I think when I had a conversation with him yesterday, saying I would classify where you're at in my mind, where I saw Braylon coming off his ankle. You look like you can start to do some things, but are you healthy enough to play well, and are you healthy enough to protect yourself? So I don't know if he's going to be at that point. He is, quote, practicing and doing some throwing. He does have full range. But what I don't want to do in this game or in the last game, have any setback, him again being a young guy and as we're wrapping up the season. So if he can be productive, he'll get back in the mix. I think Kirk playing well gets him healthy quicker, you know, and that always happens when that happens. But I just don't want him to have any regression the last 2 weeks as we wrap up the season. I want to see him getting better. It was good to see him practice, very encouraged. I don't think he's watching it Sunday. I would say he's not ready, but he was throwing the football, and it didn't look weak. I just think I think the velocity of turning it over and getting the strength level to do that. He's got range of motion. It is his throwing arm, but how to just create the zip that he needs on the ball. We'll see how he goes this week with that and next week.
You like to talk a lot about your seniors. Have you talked a lot this week about this kind of being the last home game for them, and hopefully their families getting to come and watch them one last time on this field? Have you got to talk to them a lot this week?
Yeah, well, and not a lot yet. I did have a meeting with them yesterday, and I talked to them as a group quickly after Sunday's practice. All I want is this week for a home week, and next week being Thanksgiving week. They're like, anything that they need. There's things we have to do in practice. There's things we got to do in preparation. But what do you want these last few weeks? Does anybody feel they'd like to have a chance to, if you haven't been a captain yet and you think you should be and you'd like to be a captain, let me know. I'll think about it. If you'd like the opportunity here to share a word with your team, if you'd like to do that, let me know. But what would you like this last week or two to make sure that they're going out? We've got pushing 35, 6, 7 kids that are 4th, 5th, or 6th-year seniors. And in my eyes, I'm telling them, you all have the opportunity on senior day to be recognized. We'll put your picture on the Jumbotron, where you're from, your major, you get your little 10 seconds, you run out on the field, get a picture with your family. And I think low 20 guys want to do it. Some guys don't. And just because, like Joe Anderson said, well, can I do it again? I go, yeah, you're a 5th-year senior with COVID. Now you're a 6th-year senior. You should be recognized. It's a quick little thing. So you'll see some guys at senior day because they're 4th, 5th, and 6th-year guys. Doesn't mean it's their last game, but they're going to be recognized as senior players. Some of those guys maybe just got here in the first year. Some of the guys that just got here year one said, I don't feel like I'm a senior. And so I gave every kid, if you have graduated or are graduating, you have the right to be a senior, and I want what we're doing this week, what we're doing next week, any ideas, suggestions, anything you'd like to do. And I had a couple different suggestions of things they'd like to do, and we'll put that in place this week for those guys. I think that's the best way to honor those guys.
A couple of times in preseason camp, you mentioned the receivers, and you were concerned about, the development of that position as a whole. Some of the competitive catches Cam especially was able to make on Saturday seems like, that would show some great progress. I guess maybe you could speak to the position as a whole if you have seen progress there, but especially with Cam, what he's been able to do to, have the kind of performance.
Yeah, we lost a lot of the guys from last year. And, Malachi had an injury early. We've had some inconsistency from the older players. Some of the young guys we signed did not, come in, quote, ready or quite as good maybe to play. So it's been, I think Coach Schwitzer's a phenomenal young coach and great energy and fundamentals and his routine and what he puts those guys through. And I think he and Lance Dunbar, who's working with us as receivers, both those guys are former NFL guys, but they got great energy and know the position. And watching them work every day on the field, they do a great job. But it's been a work in progress. Cam has been our most consistent guy. I made the comment to Cam yesterday. I always talk about guys that would, things aren't fair. I said, you started out playing slot inside receiver for us and splitting time with Malachi and with Braylon Presley. And I said, with some injuries to Devin Williams, who's been out, and now Marquise Shoulders has been out, our outside starters. Hey, we need you to go outside. And we've had him on the left side. The other day, he caught an out and up ball on the right side. I said, how many times you ran the route? He goes, no, it's first time, coach. And he was getting held and made a competitive catch. And so I made a comment to our young receivers. I says, coaches, we're coaching you and making suggestions, but one of the best things to do is to watch a good player practice and prepare. If I was a receiver here, I would watch how Cam Benjamin practices. He's one of our best practice players. He's one of our best kids. He'll finish with his MBA here in December. He has an opportunity for another year. I think he maybe is going to take it, and he'll leave Tulsa as a TU alum, but with double masters. So he's a great player, competitive guy. The room's gotten better, but it's got a long way to go. It was good against that team to make more competitive plays that we need, and because that's what the game is now. It's one-on-one. It's competitive. Everybody's loading the box, and they're going to let them tug on you. They're going to let them you're playing a top 20 team. You're playing a good team. There's no. I always tell you guys, there's no such thing as pass interference. You have to fight to get open. You have to make competitive plays. We made a lot more the other day. We did create separation the other day. We need a lot more going forward. We need that room. We need all of our team to be bigger, to be stronger. We've got a lot of growth that we need as we move through these next 2 weeks, honoring these seniors, and then moving on to next season as we go forward.
And one last thing on Kirk. You have mentioned him, in these settings quite a bit through the year, so I know, he had caught your eye weeks ago. You mentioned what he did on the scout team, but kind of his skill set specifically, what does he bring to the table?
He's got decent size, but not big. He's got a good arm, but not a great one. But he's got really, I just think, good anticipation, vision. A lot of guys are smart, but can you process? And can you process what you're seeing? And like we always show them film, but they're seeing something from this angle. And it's different when you're showing film from behind. Hey, you're sitting there flat-footed, everybody's flying around, they're trying to kill you, and you got to put a shot, and it's an awkward throw, and you got to be on target. He seems to have decent accuracy. He's got a good skill set. He did by no means is he a huge guy with a cannon of an arm, but he has a really good skill set as a quarterback. I think he has a high-end skill set with intelligence, anticipation, vision. The more you play, you get better. And then my thing is, again, his surrounding players played better last week than they had played. That helped him. Now, he did very well. That helped him. And now he's getting patted on the game back for one good game. He was 6 of 16 the week before. That wasn't like you're ready to anoint you. It's like here's the next Davey O'Brien guy. I mean, you're young, and now you've had some success. How do you handle that? I think he's been raised right. He's got a unique skill set, and he's been somehow connected where I think a long time ago someone thought he had a chance to be a quarterback, or he thought he did in the way he's worked, because he comes in, everybody's got these quarterback guru guys, but I think he's been to some guys that have taught him, how to work, how to prepare, and as we get into off season, we'll get quarterback school going, and get that position. When that position's played well this year, we've looked like a pretty good team, and when that position haven't, we flat out have looked very poor.
Coach, he's one of these walk-ons you mentioned that have had a big impact on the season this year. In the locker room, how does that kind of impact the makeup of this team when you have walk-ons who are getting a lot more playing time over some of the scholarship guys? Yeah,
well, I mean, first of all, those are conversations you have with scholarship guys. Like, for example, when we do our scout work, and a lot of times you'll have more than 11 guys. And sometimes it's amazing to me, and I always kind of point it out without being too much of a horse's rear about it, but I'll say it's amazing. We go to scout team, all the scholarship guys go stand on the sideline first, and all the walk-on guys jog out to play, and how much are you getting and how much are they getting? But those guys that love to play, like Dane Hodge, kept talking about what a battle it was to find his niche, found his niche because he kept practicing. And like I spent 2 years as a walk-on player on the scout team. I was going against a guy named Lawrence Taylor back in the day. I mean, and we had 5 offensive linemen. You didn't get a play off. You practiced every play the whole day. That's all we had. But with that, you started learning, how to play. You started learning you were good enough. You started gaining confidence. And I appreciate those walk-on guys. That being said, too, those are then direct conversations you have with your scholarship players that if you want to play, you're not waiting to play. You're getting better now. And that's what scares me in this day and age, that some of these guys think, well, opportunity's not presenting itself or it's not going my way. You're making your bet. And if you're not getting yourself ready to play, you're never, quote, going to be good enough. The boat's pulling out. You got to jump on. You got to jump on now. And so that's a part of when you're building a team, is just teaching guys. Like for example, I think Billy Jackson and Jordan Ford have been okay, but a little down this few weeks. Haven't got as many carries. They had some of the best plays Saturday ever. Billy Jack got a first down. We didn't block a soul. It's 3rd and 1. We got hit 1 yard in the backfield. He got 3 yards. We didn't block a person. And one guy made a first down because he wanted to. Roger Jordan came in, had some juice, and had 4 carries, but they were big carries and good runs. Had a nice blitz pickup we needed on one of Kirk's passes. And it was like, hey, here's my role. Because all we talked about last week was everybody's got a job to do. And maybe your job is to be the scout team quarterback. Do that job the best you can. Maybe I'm the holder on the PAT field goal. Do that job the best you can. Maybe I'm not playing today. Have the best energy I can have. So all we talked about last week was we all got jobs to do, from coaching to equipment person. We all got our jobs, managers. We all got our jobs. Do your job the best with as most energy you can. Do your job. And that was nice last week to see some of those guys pick it up. It's nice to see these walk-on guys pick. And now some of these walk-ons, Joe Anderson's been on scholarship. Mitch Colkin's been on scholarship. Cam Benjamin, they're former walk-on. Ben Kopinski is a former walk-on. That earned a scholarship. So, it's nice to see those guys that quote have the chip on the shoulder, something to prove. What you're trying to enhance in your culture is that your whole team feels that. Tulsa's had its best teams when there's a bunch of guys that had chips on their shoulder and had something to prove. And they went out collectively and did it as a team. So it was good to see a little bit of that improvement Saturday. I felt that was something our team could take some pride in, but I've also been very directive. We're not happy about getting close. We should see some confidence. We should see some growth. We should feel better about that, but we should know that we're yearning and searching and wanting more and love to get more quickly for these 2 seniors. And the 2 teams that we're playing the next 2 weeks, cosmetically, records don't look good. This offense is one of the best offenses in the conference with a quarterback that threw 1 pick until last week. East Carolina just held FAU to 170 yards. They're playing as good a defense as anybody in the conference is playing. So for us to get victory this week and us to follow up the following week, we're going to have to play our best football with a lot of nicked up guys. And like you say, you lose in the locker room. How are your seniors? We need our best week so we have a chance to get a victory on senior day this week.
You do have a lot of seniors in their last year. Can you just kind of speak on the importance of their leadership and just them on the field?
Well, they're always leading, so whether it be good or bad. Because your team is always being led. This crowd, what impressed me, because in this day and age, some of these guys could have went to the portal, maybe came back. Some guys left. A lot of guys stayed. I just felt indebted to them. And I told them, it bothers me, a 3rd and 1. I couldn't get up a better call to get a victory a week ago. Or a 2-point play, you try to run it, come up short, so you second guess. Because I see some guys I think have given a lot to this school, a lot of time. Always, administrators always talk about, we're going to go do fundraising, ask the former players. I say, hey, they gave you your body. They gave you their body and time. And now you want money from them too. Okay, yeah, good luck. Good luck, go for it. Let's go. These guys have given their body and their time, and so many people have committed their families for them to play this game. You want them to have success. And again, I've embraced those guys, appreciate those guys. It's been as good a collective group of men that I've dealt with ever. And I've been around a lot of teams, a lot of great teams, a lot of great players. This is a phenomenal group of men. I appreciate what they've done. They've laid a solid foundation. I'd like to see it end with some good momentum, but we're going to have, again, a good week of practice, and we're going to have to go play well. And we played a little bit better the other day, still wasn't good enough. Kick return, 3rd down conversion, kicking field goals in the score zone, things that get you beat. We got to get better this week.
And talk about challenge of facing good passing attack. Talk about your corners. Some personnel's changed.
Yeah, we've had a bunch of injuries. We've had a couple rooms where I think at our safety position we have 5 healthy players right now for 3 spots. So it's kind of deep. It's kind of hard to be too deep mathematically when you got 3 safety spots and you got 5 guys. Now we got some redshirted guys we got some freshmen that won't be redshirted. And I think one of the mistakes, not realizing, I think early we felt, well, let's get some of these freshmen out here, see if they can go. And then as the year went along, with some of the veterans we've got, like K-Ray or Jace, and some of these guys maybe didn't play, but then some of the guys came in and said, hey, Coach, I played a couple, 3 games. I played, if I play more than 4 games, I'm going to be redshirted. That's why we can play Kirk now. We'll get his redshirt year. But for example, Devin Robinson's played in 4 games. He has to be redshirted. So I'm going to honor that because that's what he and his family want to do. And we could use him maybe this week to help us a little bit. But the way the year went going, he didn't play a lot in game 2, 3, 4, 5. He didn't get as much as he wanted to. We used him on some kicking teams. We have several freshmen, and I don't think that's being selfish. They have the opportunity for a 5-year career. You can play in 4. And I think going forward earlier this year, the thought was, hey, throw them out there, see what they can do. I think next year, if you're not sure what they can do, I think I need to hold them to the end, because there's a few guys I wish I could saddle up this week. But for their personal career, they want to be redshirted, and I'm gonna respect that, and I'm not gonna slight them for that, because if it's good for them, it's good for the team. And if they want to be redshirted and they think that's best for them, I'm gonna respect that. So some secondary rooms have gotten thin. We've had 3-4 corners out. You know, our nickel position's down to one person. We've had some guys with some injuries. So that being said, some guys have had to step up, and it's been difficult. At the same time, you play a team last week, you go 3 quarters and don't give up a touchdown. So they're battling, they're playing hard. You go back to, again, if we don't give up the punt block against Charlotte, they've got 16 points until the last drive. So the last 2 games, the bulk of the games, the defense has played solid, good defense, and they, like the offense, they're a little thin right now. So we got to be more smart in practice what we're doing. We're smart with the amount of hitting we're doing. We need some guys to step up. And as we recruit and go forward, we need to enhance our roster with more depth and better players, and maybe manage some of the preseason freshmen better. When I think you're trying to see what you got, let's see if he's ready, let's push him. And I shot my 4 bullets, and now I kind of wish I had 1 or 2 of them left, to tell you the truth.
One last question?
Yes, sir, Coach. If like Kirk Francis had been at Union or Jenks or Bixby, would he?
We didn't offer any quarterback, and there were quarterbacks there, and there were quarterbacks at Denton Ryan, there were quarterbacks at Geyer. So
But I mean, would his recruiting experience have looked?
I don't know, because right now our recruiting on paper is the best it has been in high school recruiting right now, and that's because everybody's going up for the portal guy. So when OU and Oak State used to sign 22 and 25 high school guys, now they're signing 14, 15, 16. You multiply that times all the Big 12, that's 100+ Big 12 guys that are not getting. I think last year there was 1,000 less high school kids signed. So that's enhancing. So some of that is not you. It's, would I rather go get a guy? And for example, here's what's going to happen at this level right here. You'll get a lot of guys get approached at our level to come, because what they know, you have started in college football. I, over here at X school in the Big 12, SEC, ACC, Big 10, I have recruited, and some of my recruits didn't pan out. So I've got some freshmen, or I've got a kid that is not panned out. He has moved on. I need depth at my quarterback position. I need depth at line position. Let's go get this guy. He looks like he's pretty good. I don't know if he's going to be my starter, but he'll be a good backup. So again, you're going to get a lot of guys in the. I think there was a tremendous player in our league last year that went to an SEC school that I think's got very minimal play this year, and he was expected to be one of the top players in our conference. So that's a part of the dynamics now, is the transfer portal means there's less high school guys available. And like the coach from Washington State just said, I mean, it's getting ready to be open season right here with is what it is.
Is it a given that he will be scholarshiped going into the next semester, or is that one of the?
Now I got to talk to compliance about just our numbers mathematically, you know, where those numbers are, and be the same for those. I mean, Chase Myers, same deal. Dane Hodge, same deal. Those guys aren't on scholarship that are playing a lot. And then you're looking at those guys. Like my son is a walk-on right now at Ohio State. Well, he's not getting judged just on how he's playing at Ohio State. He's getting judged compared to that portal guy I can go get. Would I rather go get a portal guy that had started over here or elevate you? Used to be years ago you would bump. So as we look at guys, we look to enhance our roster with our current players, the walk-ons and signees, and then there'll be some degree of transfer work. But we'll work as hard as we can. As the season wraps up, well, they'll be meeting. Right now when the season ends, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday after the season, it's not recruiting. You're here visiting with your team to see what is the direction of kids. And then you start getting those plans of what the portal is. We'll continue to work strongly with high school recruiting. If we would have had a full year with Kirk, there's a chance we probably may would have offered him last year if we didn't know anymore. Right. But I think last year, the reason he had the FCS numbers, I just think it's the reduction of all that, just lowered guys that had those opportunities 5 years ago, 10 years ago are not getting those. And that's just the lay of the land right now.